In this video, we're going to show you how to replace your exterior door handle reinforcement on your Chevy HHR. It's located behind your door panel. You're going to need a T25 Torx bit, and you're going to go in on an angle through this hole, and you're going to find a bolt. You can use a light if needed, if you can't find it, and you're going to undo the bolt. Once you undo the bolt, it stays in there. So now we took our bolt out of the side here, and now we're going to remove our outer door handle. To do that, you're going to pull this out, remove this piece, and then you're going to slide this way. And remove it. We can take this off as well if it doesn't fall off first. Using a T25, we're going to remove these two bolts. Now we're going to take this cover off, insert a pick or a flathead screwdriver, and remove it. And you'll see a bolt underneath. We're going to use a T27 and remove this bolt. Set that aside. Now we're going to remove this plastic pin. Get your trim tool, slide it underneath, and remove it. Now we're going to remove our panel. To do that, you're going to use your trim tool and find an opening, and you're going to pull it apart, pull it away from the actual door. Follow it along the edge. There's one up here that you need to pull out as well. This door panel's obviously been taken apart before, so it's not as hard for us. You need to pick this up as well and just pull it out. There's a little tab here. Just pull it out and set it up. And then there's a bracket underneath here that it gets stuck on, so you need to take that out. Pull it out from the door lock. We're going to remove our cable. To do that, you're going to flip this back and undo that piece, and then you're going to take it out. So here's the piece. It's got a little notch in there, and it hooks onto this. So just pull it back and then pick it up. Once you remove that, you're going to be able to put your door panel off to the side. And I use a bungee cord to hold it in place so it doesn't go anywhere. I'm going to hang it off the steering wheel. At this point, if your window is not up, you're going to want to make sure it is. So just turn your key on. Your switch is still attached, so it shouldn't be a big deal. And you're just going to put your window up. And shut the key off so you don't drain your battery. Now we're going to take off this weather seal. It's best not to rip it. If you can help it, you might need a razor blade. Just be gentle. Now we're going to push our cable through so we can get this panel down. And you don't need to take the whole thing out, but you do need it out of your way. Now we're going to remove this Torx bit bolt with a T25. Now we're going to unhook this yellow clip. To do that, you're going to unhinge it by pushing in on this tab and opening it up. Be really careful. Sometimes they break when they get brittle with age. So use a pick, push that out, and it should unhinge like that. Open it up and remove your rod. We're gonna take the rod out of this red bracket that's on the mechanism. Push this up, and then you're gonna be able to get the rod out. It should just slide out. Once that's unhooked, you're gonna be able to take the assembly out, the reinforcer, and back on the inside. And pull it out through the door panel. And we'll transfer things over on the bench. Let's start by removing this bolt. It's an 8mm socket. And you also want to remove this one, same size. They're also the same length. Now we're going to remove this rod and transfer it over. Should slide out. And it should slide in. We're going to remove this clip completely to remove our lock cylinder. Just pull it right out. And now we can remove this. And we're going to transfer this over. Pull this out to about there, and then you're going to put some pressure on it and push it through. Make sure you hear that click, and then you're going to lock it in place. Now that we're all transferred over, we're going to go back to the car and install. Make sure you bring your bolts with you. Let's insert our reinforcer for the door handle. Feed this up through. Once you line it up, you're going to push in where the lock cylinder is, and that should secure it enough to get the bolt in on the other end. Once you get your tabs in, you're going to get your bolt started on the other end. And you're going to snug it up. Don't over tighten that. We're going to put our rod onto the red bracket. To do that, you're just going to reach in, and you can peek through where you took the bolt out on the other side of the door and see where you're going, and then just pull it towards the lock cylinder, like that. Now we're going to attach the lower part of this rod down there with the yellow clip. And your rod should indicate where it was before. You want to put it exactly where it was before. That way you have the right adjustment. Line it up, and then clip it in. Make sure it's secure. And now we're going to put our door handle on in the front. Let's put our gasket on. Make sure the tabs go into these two holes, and that'll hold it in place. Push it over the lock cylinder, and that should stay pretty good. Now we're going to put our handle in. I'm going to insert it in. Make sure it's engaged in the rod. You're going to slide it down so it clicks in place. Now we're going to pull this out and put the other end in and let it go down. Now we're going to go on this side of the door and put our bolt in. Now we're going to insert our bolt. You have to reach around the other end and just guide it as you start the bolt. Tighten it down. Just make sure you have a hand on the other end, holding it still as you tighten this up. Once you feel like there's some resistance and it's getting tighter, don't over tighten it. Just go a little bit. Make sure it's secured. Now we're going to put this back. Just make sure everything is where it belongs. Got to feed your cable through this hole. Your lock is where it belongs. Get it on the outside of this. Ours is ripped, but you're going to feed it through this hole if yours is not ripped. And re-stick it. Feel free to use whatever you need to get this back to sticking if it's not sticking anymore. And we are going to line up our door panel. Make sure this is out so that this bracket here has room to move. And get your door lock in. You're going to line up your plastic grommets. So these all around, make sure they're lined up in the holes. And I usually start my ones on the bottom, just aiming them. You also need to put your cable back in your door handle. So once you're lined up down there, you're going to do that. So insert it in. It's like a little hammer. It goes right in the hole. And once you're in here, you're going to take this little plastic clip, slide it down, and lock it in. That's what holds it in. So just make sure that this is clipped in right here after you push it in, just like you took it off, the opposite. Now we're going to put the rest of the door panel on. Now that everything's lined up, you're going to leave this out for now. You're going to put the lip of this into these clips. Make sure it's in there and push everything in. Just work your way around. Apply pressure and press it in. You can also use a rubber mallet if you feel like you need to. If you feel like there's any interference whatsoever, you're going to want to take it off again and see what's going on and not force anything. That looks pretty good to me. So now we're going to put our plastic peg back in here. You're going to take the center part out, insert this in, make sure these are pushed in. When they get old, they kind of don't bounce back very well. And you're going to feed that through. It should engage with that plastic bracket. You're going to know when you're lined up by the way it feels. Once you're lined up, you're going to put the center part in, and that'll lock it in place. Now we're going to put this in. There's a tab here. You're going to pull this back and get that underneath, and then this should just lock down like that. And now we're going to put our 2 bolts in. Once you get them in there, you're going to get them started. Just tighten them down. Now we're going to put the one in here. This bolt looks like this. It's got the little sleeve on it. You want to pull your door handle away and line it up and get it started by hand. And you can tighten that one down as well. And now we're going to put our plastic cap on. The flat side goes towards the front of the car. You're going to just line up those tabs and push in.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.